I recently rewatched the opening scene of Ant-Man where the revolutionary effects were applied to the elderly Michael Douglas to make him look younger. There is a sense of uncanny valley watching it, the sense that something is off, even though comparatively it's one of the best examples of de-aging CGI around, though that isn't saying too much. My mind also wandered to the George Lucas Star Wars prequels, in particularly the third film, where he sometimes spliced multiple takes within the same shot together to get what he thought was the best performance from the actor. An example would be Anakin's face when he's being told the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise in the Opera House. You can clearly see where Lucas used two different performances and merged them together. It got me thinking about the de-aging CGI in The Irishman. Nothing similar on such a scale has been attempted before, so the only real decent ballpark measurement we have is the Ant-Man example, and a few others like the de-aging of a certain character in Blade Runner 2049. These were only for a couple of seconds though, and The Irishman will have huge chunks of its runtime where the actors need to be de-aged, one of the reasons for the extraordinary cost of the film rising to $170 million and counting. I'll cover the potential pros and cons of the de-aging CGI in another video, but what I'm concerned with here in this video is how it will affect the actors' performances. Looking at the scene in Ant-Man, when Douglas gets angry and threatening and his face scrunches up and his eyebrows dart up and down, it got me thinking that when an actor is plastered in so much digital effects, how much of an actor's performance can be attributed to the actor himself and not the CGI? Who's to say the special effects whizzes didn't touch up and edit part of Douglas's face to make it more in line with what the character was supposed to be expressing? Because of whatever reason, maybe Douglas is too old and therefore less emotive than he used to be. Doesn't something like that take away from the actor's performance? Going back to The Irishman, and some actors like Al Pacino might spend the majority of their screen time with their faces digitally de-aged. If this is the case, what do we attribute all the tics and nuanced expressions the actor does to? The actor or the CGI? Let me give an example. Say there's a scene with Pacino and the effects guys are having a hard time in post-production making Pacino look young in this particular scene. Who knows why, maybe because the speed of him talking or the sweat coming down his face, whatever. But it's proving challenging, and to find a solution the tech whiz has to alter a part of Pacino's face. Maybe edit the texture or remove a certain expression because it doesn't look right when de-aged, there's no way they can make it work. Or maybe even, like it was an animated movie, Scorsese himself is sitting in the editing room and finds himself unhappy with a certain expression or reaction from an actor and tells the de-aging guys to edit it to suit his wants. How then could we judge the actor's acting in said scene? Similar things have happened before, on a smaller scale of course, because like I said, nothing on this scale has been attempted before. Marlon Brando refused to smile in his last scene in The Score when he's watching the TV monitor, so they actually digitally inserted the smile. Now the CGI in The Irishman is utilising a lot of money and time, so we're probably going to witness the best the industry has to offer, and since the best CGI is when you don't notice it's CGI, if it's successfully applied we won't realise where the special effects have taken place. Obviously we'll know that the effects have been used because we know what De Niro and Pacino used to look like in their youth, but we might not necessarily know how much effects have been used. That scene where he's crying, did his eyes really swell up with tears or was that CGI? That part where he's raging, did his face really go that red or was that CGI too? That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's akin to an actor being under heavy makeup like Pacino in Dick Tracy or more recently Gary Oldman in Darkest Hour. When you are under as much makeup and prosthetics as Pacino in Tracy or Hugo Weaving in Captain America, it limits the performance because the actor is covered under it all and well, you can't see his face properly. It might not be much different with Pacino getting a digital facelift where his mannerisms may be masked or even created themselves by these special effects. And then you have to think about awards. Are the Academy Awards likely to offer Oscar nominations to the likes of Robert De Niro and Al Pacino when a great deal of their performance could be done on a computer? Anyway, there are two answers to this question really. The first is wait for the film to come out so we can see for ourselves. And the second is who cares? I appreciate it's not going to be a big deal for most people watching the film as long as the CGI is good, but one of the charms of the film in the casting of these titanic actors for me is not just because of who they are and their reputations, but quite simply that they are magnificent actors, and I want to see them give magnificent performances, not restricted by effects which could hamper their performances by masking their acting or artificially producing elements of their facial expressions. If they do end up altering performances using CGI, that gets all a bit too weird for me. It's almost like, what, is this a cartoon now? Changing backgrounds, sky colours and such is normal now. It was abundantly done in The Wolf of Wall Street, for example, but editing the performances of actors with CGI, if it does happen, is really too much. Or is it? I mean, aren't movies as a concept based on deception? Actors pretending to be different people, movies filmed in studios pretending to be in deserts and mountains, fake backgrounds, wigs and makeup, squibs, motion capture, different frame rates, multiple rehearsed takes, green screen, stunt doubles, etc, etc. CGI is just another tool, I guess, and though I prefer the idea of real actors interacting with real actors, technology is moving forward and providing new opportunities, even if it's going to take us a while to get used to it. Heck, we saw a character whose actor is dead play a significant role in Rogue One. It doesn't get weirder than that. Maybe one day we'll see actors long since dead appear in movies regularly, like how Aubrey Hepburn was creepily recreated for a Galaxy advert. If the effects in The Irishman are successful, it may have many filmmakers turn their heads and have light bulbs flash above them. That Sinatra biopic that Scorsese wanted to make? Instead of finding an actor to play him like Leonardo DiCaprio, maybe he'll just digitally recreate him. The future for CGI looks interesting, and slightly scary if you ask me. Martin Scorsese's The Irishman is set for release on Netflix in late 2019. Thanks for watching.